Okay, we're live. Excuse me, frog in the throat. Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:40 p.m. Hopefully my voice is going to get through the live stream here. It's been fine up until now, but as soon as I start, the frogs start to creep in. Looking at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press today, we'll look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers, the usual format, and in the second half of this evening's live stream, into the chat section, I will go and check out what is happening there. So if you are watching live this evening, say hello. Now, straight into the news, and big news as far as education here in Spain is concerned, because the government has announced that it's going to teach 8 million pupils how to react in natural disasters. Spain will introduce mandatory emergency training for all 8 million primary and secondary students from this year, following the deadly 2024 Valencia flood that killed 228 people. Inspired by Japan's earthquake drills, the new Civil Protection Emergency Training Plan will teach children how to respond to floods, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, wildfires and tsunamis, as well as industrial, chemical, nuclear and hazardous transport accidents. Lessons will be age-specific. Nursery and primary pupils will receive at least 2 hours per year on recognizing alarms and basic safety, while older students will receive a minimum of 4 hours, including practical skills such as using a fire extinguisher or helping classmates with disabilities. Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez unveiled the plan in Cuenca alongside regional leaders and ministers, framing it as Europe's most comprehensive move to embed climate risk and disaster preparedness in the schools. So there we go, another subject or training, if you like, creeping into the Spanish curriculum here for all students. Basically, 8 million students in the country. They're going to have this civil protection emergency training so that they know how to react in a disaster, whether it be, as we saw, a flood, a volcanic eruption, earthquake, or other types of emergencies. That will be the training. And according to Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez, groundbreaking as far as Europe is concerned. Not in Japan, because they prepare for things there, of course. They need to prepare for things in Japan. But with the recent disasters that we have seen here in Spain, the government thinking that maybe we need to train the children on how to prepare in the case of such an event. If a tsunami hits the coast, for example, if a volcano erupts, if you're living in the Canary Islands, of course, you will know what to do. And of course, if it rains heavily and your city or town starts to flood, which happens far too frequently here in Spain, at least in recent times, that is. So we'll see if the younger generations are taught well as far as this preparation is concerned, and they know how to react in emergencies. It'll be interesting to see what skills my son comes home with. Second piece of news, and the Spanish road cycling race, the Vuelta de España, was disrupted again today, and 2 protesters have been arrested in Valladolid. Spanish police arrested 2 demonstrators on Thursday after they jumped the barriers along the Vuelta de España, or Vuelta a España, individual time trial route in Valladolid. The incident occurred on the climb linking Plaza de la Antigua and Plaza de la Universidad, but no riders or race vehicles were present at the time, so the stage continued unaffected. A third person attempted to enter the course but was stopped, while another 15 protesters were identified, including Podemos party organizer Pablo Fernández. Fearing pro-Palestinian protests against the Israel Premier Tech team, organisers had already shortened the 18th stage from 27 to 12 kilometres and deployed more than 1,000 security personnel from the National Police, Civil Guard and local police. The last-minute change followed similar disruptions earlier in the race, including at the Grand Depot in Bilbao. After the arrests, supporters accompanied the detainees to the Delicias police station. So protesters again interrupting the Vuelta de España, or Vuelta a España as it's called here. I think it's Vuelta de España. I could be wrong. Tour de France, of course, Spain's similar race where road riders ride around the country for a certain amount of weeks trying to win an important prize. But the disruptions this year taking it to a new high, I believe, because there have been protests in recent years, of course, small protests. You might see people with independence flags out and about on the certain routes, but this year disruptions to the races themselves. And as we saw there, the one in Valladolid, Podemos behind the disruptions, as we saw, or at least some members of Podemos. So interesting times we're living, but as we know, the anti-Israel sentiment here in Spain is quite high, and of course the government is also putting its voice forward as far as the anti-Israel stance is concerned. But not good for the riders, because when you're traveling at that high speed on those fragile bikes and you come off because of a protester, it's an ugly sight. So we'll see if the race finishes in Madrid without any more incidences. I think the security in Madrid this weekend, maybe, or next weekend, whenever the final is going to be very, very high, because protesters, there's nothing they love more than to be on centre stage in Spain's capital city, where they get more publicity than in Valladolid. Keeping on the subject of the political party Podemos, as we can see here, its leaders have been criticised for enrolling their kids in private school. Podemos figures Irene Montero, MEP, member of the European Parliament and party political secretary, and her partner, Pablo Iglesias, former deputy prime minister, have enrolled two of their 3 children in a private cooperative school on the outskirts of Madrid, provoking accusations of hypocrisy. The Eco School offers classes in English, small groups, digital design and robotics, skiing trips and numerous extracurricular activities for about €500 a month, excluding extras. Critics highlight that both politicians have long condemned private education as a tool of social segregation and an elitist system for the wealthy, while Iglesias once described private schooling as an assault of the rich on the poor. Their decision recalls the 2018 controversy over purchasing a luxury home in Galapagar, which damaged Podemos' credibility. Supporters note their constitutional right to choose their children's schooling, but the move has renewed debate over the gap between Podemos' egalitarian rhetoric and the personal choices of its leaders. So Podemos in the spotlight here because of two leaders in the party. Podemos, of course, has new leaders that are not making headlines, but Irene Montero, the sole European Parliament member for that party, representing Podemos in Europe. I think she's the only one. Don't quote me on that. And, of course, her partner, the former Vice President of Spain, believe it or not, Pablo Iglesias, the man formerly of ponytail, now going with a shorter haircut, but not living up to his political point of view, criticising private schooling or private education, which has been the rhetoric of that political party for many, many years, and sending their kids to a private school on the outskirts of Madrid. So joining the elite is Podemos, and some people not happy, but the supporters, of course, because you'll always have people that stand firm with groups like this. Podemos, doesn't matter what the leaders do, they'll always stand firm because they basically follow what these people say, and saying that, Spain's constitution guarantees that you can send your kids to any type of school, whatever type of school you like. Yes, that is true, but don't go on public record complaining or criticising private education if you're not going to send your kids to a public school. You send them to a private school instead, and also you buy a luxury house on the outskirts of Madrid too, which doesn't really live up to the ideology of a political party like Podemos. But I'll leave it there and move on to the next one, which is foreign buyers are targeting Spain's Mediterranean coast and islands. Foreign demand for Spanish property remains strong, with Britain still leading purchases but facing growing competition from Germans, French, Dutch and Italians. According to real estate portal Idealista, in the second quarter of 2025, the highest share of overseas interest was concentrated in Alicante, the Balearic Islands, Malaga, and Santa Cruz de Tenerife. Other hotspots include Girona and Las Palmas, followed by Almería, Murcia, and Granada, all above 15%. In 2024, foreign nationals bought almost 93,000 homes in Spain, 14.6% of total sales, led by Britons, Germans, Moroccans, French and Dutch, while the Mediterranean coastline and both archipelagos remain the main draw. Valencia, Barcelona and Madrid are the principal big city markets. Analysts expect foreign demand to stay high through 2025, with Northern Europeans increasingly challenging the British for prime coastal and island properties. So interesting to see there that foreign buyers still choosing to purchase homes in the coastal areas of the country, let's say Alicante, Balearic Islands, Malaga, Santa Cruz de Tenerife for the weather, obviously down there, not far on the coast as well. And the big cities here in Spain, also popular destinations for people with cash, of course, looking to purchase foreign property in a city like Madrid or Barcelona. Murcia also listed there, another coastal destination, popular for a lot of foreign residents. But the British, as we saw in that article, they're still the number one nationality when it comes to foreign home sales here in Spain. But the Europeans are coming. The Europeans are coming. The French, the Germans, and the like, who are also looking to secure property and a retirement destination, I would imagine, on the Spanish coast somewhere. And no doubt that the famous Brexit has played a role in less or fewer British people buying property in Spain because they can't spend as much time here as they would like to do. Let's be honest about that. Comments that have been left on the channel in recent times. Let's have a look at some of these. One here from David. What about neighbours smoking on a terrace next door to you of their house and pollute your living area? Thanks, David, for the comment. Obviously related to an article that we saw the other day about a proposed smoking ban here in Spain. They're going to extend the areas where you cannot smoke to outside hospitals, school playgrounds, outside schools, things like that. And also the outdoor seating areas of bars and restaurants, which have long been a place where smokers tend to gather. When they can't go inside to smoke their ciggies, they sit outside, and other people that are enjoying the outdoor space, maybe not enjoying the smoke wafting over their food and up their noses. And David here pointing out that, what about if you've got neighbours that are quite close to you smoking on their terrace and the smoke is coming into your back garden? Well, not much you can do about that, unfortunately, David. So you're going to have to put up with it or hope that your neighbours decide to give up smoking. One here from Daniel. As a former smoker, good for you, Spain. Smoking is a nasty habit I had for 15 years of my life, and to me it was the hardest thing to quit. I picked up this stupid habit as a young adult, and it just was damaging my health. At these prices now, crazy. I was a pack-a-day smoker, and with these current prices, 10 times 30 days, that is 300 for smoking a month. For a year, it is 300 times 12, 3,600. Waste of money and waste of health. Thanks, Daniel, for the comment. I'm sure a lot of people would agree with you that smoking is a waste of money, and obviously the effects on your health clear for many people to see. And it is what it is, and good on Spain, according to Daniel, for cracking down. Will it work? That's the question, because as we know, Spain has a fairly large percentage of people that smoke. I think it's around 33-34%. A lot of young people have taken up the habit as well, gone off the vapes, back onto the ciggies. Why that is, I've got no idea. And you see kids outside the high schools puffing away, spending their parents' money possibly on cigarettes and other things like that. And will the kids, mainly that are standing outside high school smoking, stop? I don't know. Who's going to police it? That's the question. Will teachers come outside and police it? Don't think so. Will the local police cruise by and have a word to the young people smoking? Don't think so. So, you might have these bans in place, but whether they are followed by the population is another question, as with a lot of rules and regulations here. One here from Ira. I understand smoke bans for cigarettes and cigars, but why are we treating vapes as equally bad? I wouldn't vape in front of a hospital or school, but telling me I can't vape in social centres sounds like I can't vape anywhere. There's a lot of people, like Las Ramblas or something. That seems unreasonable. Thanks, Ira, for the comment there. A vapor is Ira, and not happy that vapes will be included in this law if it gets passed, of course. We'll see a comment in the moment that clarifies that. But the government deciding to put tobacco, e-cigarettes, vapes in the same bag, basically. And if you are a vapor, going around vaping away with the sometimes strange selling steam or whatever it is that comes out, vapor that comes out of your mouth. It'll be interesting to see, because vapors think that they can possibly blend in with the crowd with their vapes, because the smell of the whatever it is that they're expelling is not as nasty as cigarette smoke to some people. The sweet smells, sometimes fruity smells that you get, bubblegum smells that you get with those vapes, and bad luck. Everyone will be included, I think. But as we can see here, sorry, that's not the one. This one here, I think it is. Let me have a look. Michael pointing out that readers are not aware the ban has not been issued. It has to pass a bill in Parliament and probably will fail, says Michael. Yeah, Michael, don't know if it will fail or not. Of course, it will depend on people like Mr. Puigdemont, Spain's #1 fugitive, that the government will rely on to get this over the line. Don't know whether it will get the support of Vox, because Vox is a party that would be pro-smoking, I think, when they're at the bullfights, watching the bull suffer unnecessarily, puffing away on their cigars. I don't think they would be in favour. The Partido Popular, don't know either. We will see. But whoever that was there, Michael, not confident that the anti-smoking law will get across the line. Again, time will tell. One here from Steve. Great news about the smoking ban. It does make me laugh how Sanchez thinks anyone listens to him from anywhere apart from Spain. Thanks, Steve. I'm not sure whether people outside of Spain listen to Mr. Sanchez or not. I imagine no, because people in Spain don't listen to French politicians or Portuguese politicians. Ask any Spaniard who the Prime Minister of Portugal is, and no one's going to know who the Portugal Prime Minister is. You might know who the President of France is, Mr. Macron. You might know who the Prime Minister of the UK is, maybe. Italy, I reckon some people would know, Ms. Maloney. And Germany, probably not. Sweden, no idea. The Netherlands, again, no idea what's going on in those countries politically. So, yeah, Mr. Sanchez probably not getting a lot of traction outside of the country. But over 90 million people come to Spain. And of those 90 million, I'm sure that there would be a percentage of smokers who are going to have to put up with Mr. Sanchez's rules and regulations while they are here. I think. Another one here from Johnny. We have been lucky enough to travel from home in Scotland to various parts of Spain and have always felt safe, even when travelling early in the morning or at night. We have been to large cities and small towns and have great memories of them all. Thanks, Johnny, for the comment there on the topic of is Spain a safe country? Given the travel advisories out there, I would say that compared with some countries and what we've seen in recent times, very recent times of what's happening in some countries out there, Spain is absolutely safe. Absolutely. There's no gun violence, for example, in this country. Yeah, a few people get shot every now and again because of a dispute between different groups of people or different clans. But apart from that, not a lot of gun crime going on, which makes Spain safer than many countries. Thanks for the comment. Ellie is the final comment. If Spain were to offer free textbooks and school supplies to its students, maybe there would be more children in school. Thanks, Ellie. Yep, one of the big stories that you'll always read come September or late August in the newspapers here is the cost of sending your kids to school, even if they're going to a free school or a public school, as they're called here. Government school, you'll have to fork out for various things. If you want your kid to have lunch, you've got to pay for the lunch, of course, unless you can get some type of grant or scholarship. But yeah, you're going to have to fork out for books and other material, and there's always, as I said, articles in the press saying that a lot of people complain about the rising costs when it comes to education. Should the government be paying for books? Don't know. I don't know. Does that happen in other countries? I can't remember from the my schooling days whether books were included or not, or whether we had to pay for them, or my parents had to pay for them back in the day. But maybe it would be a way to keep more kids in school if it were cheaper, let's say. But no problem for the Podemos leaders sending their kids to private schools and paying $500 a month. No issues there. But for the rest of us, a little bit expensive. Now, into the live chat I'm going to go. See what's bubbling away in the live chat today. Don't reckon there's going to be much activity, but I'll get there in just a moment. Before I do, I need to change the backdrop picture. It's on the screen now. And I think we've seen this one before. This is from Andrea, who sent this in. And it's a picture of Córdoba, the bridge that goes over the river there, the Guadalquivir River, in the south of Spain, and you head into the old part of the city of Córdoba, and yeah, history, a lot of history in those streets there. Andrea, thanks for sending this picture through. If you've got a similar picture you would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is on the screen now, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send your pictures through to that email address. And any other information that you would like to send my way, you can send it to me at that email address, spainspeaks@gmail.com. As I said, feel free. I'll just de-blur the background. Like icon is also going on the screen. If you haven't hit it yet, just below the screen you will find it. Hit the like icon if you can. We'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today. 33 likes only. 33 likes. Hit the like icon, please, if you can. We'll see if we can get up to a decent tally, as I said. Now, I need to thank people that have supported the channel in recent times. Super thanks on YouTube, super chat here on the live streams, people that have bought me a coffee. I think somebody has just bought me a coffee, so I'll thank that person in just a moment. Patreon, longer-term supporters, thank you very much for that support. And also the channel members of this YouTube channel, grateful for your support. And it helps keep the channel going and growing, which is, for me, an important thing. Now, into the live chat. Let me open it up. As I said, I reckon it'll be a quick one tonight. Yes, it does seem to be that way. Super chat from Marcus, regular contributor to the channel, super member, of course. Hopefully the kids will learn some tricks to teach their parents. 10 hours without electricity in the apagón or the blackout this year, and you'd think the world ended. Thanks, Marcus, for that. Related to the news today that Spanish kids or Spanish school children are going to receive special training in natural disasters, so that they're ready just in case their classroom floods or an earthquake causes buildings to collapse. The kids, hopefully, will be ready. We'll be ready. Now, Andrew is also in the chat, regular viewer and valued member also. Buenas tardes, amigos. Hope you're having a good week. We're alternating between blue sky and sunshine and torrential rain here in London southeast. Thanks, Andrew. Good to see you today. Mark is in the chat here too. Hi, Stu. Mark here from Swansea in Wales. Booked into beautiful Benalmádena in October for 9 nights and can't wait. Do you travel down that way at all? Mark, I used to travel down that way, not so much in recent times. My partner's parents had a house in Malaga, on the other side of Malaga to Benalmádena, in a place called Rincón de la Victoria, and I went down there for many a summer, I will say, when I first arrived, probably For 10 years or so, we frequented the Malaga area, and in October, the weather will still be decent. Might not be beach weather, but you'll get some decent weather to be able to sit outside and maybe walk around in a t-shirt or lighter clothes at that time of the year, October, down there. I remember spending New Year's Eve in Malaga, and I've never seen warmer weather for a New Year's Eve anywhere in Spain than in Malaga. Madrid, it's absolutely freezing. The north of Spain's freezing. You get to Malaga and you're walking around in a light jumper or a t-shirt if you're bold enough. Maybe it was a strange year, I don't know, but I remember it well. High Flyer is in the chat as well, coming in from the UK. Having a Super Bock, hoping everyone is enjoying a good week. Super Bock, Portuguese beer, bought at Lidl, the weapon of choice tonight to accompany the live. All the best. Yes, John, Super Bock, my beer of choice whenever I'm in Portugal. Not much of a choice to be had in Portugal. I mentioned it before. Virtually only 2 beers sold in the majority of places that I go to anywhere, or the places that we go in Portugal. Super Bock or Sagres. That's all you get. So you choose one or you choose the other. Can I tell the difference between the two? No. I cannot. But it's not a bad beer. It's not bad. Lager. Sani coming in from a soggy Basingstoke. Came home from Valencia yesterday and want to go back. Thanks, Sani. Good to see you in the chat today. Hope you had a good time in Valencia. And the family's well. James and Kathy coming in from Worcester. Heavy rain, high winds after a month of no rain. Now it can't stop. Maybe the kids need to get into disaster training there in the UK as well, just in case. Don't know. Marianne coming in from California, the southernmost county, San Diego that would be. Lovely weather, wishing you the same. Thanks, Marianne. Good to see you. Debbie watching this evening from Florida, United States. Good to see you, Debbie. Long time no see in the lives. Andrew coming in from the north of Spain, Amariña to be exact. Showers, windy, pleasant enough though. Better now than August. Crowds have gone. Thanks, Andrew. I'm sure a lot of people are happy that the crowds have disappeared from their towns, those summer crowds that invade a lot of small towns here in Spain, in the month of August especially, and the locals can't wait to see them leave. Marilyn coming in from a soggy Somerset, can't wait to get back to Jerez. Thanks for the broadcasts, it really helps, Marilyn, to stay or to keep in touch. Thanks, Marilyn, for that. TOL, valued member, also in the chat, coming in from San Diego. Beautiful there, 22 degrees. Thanks, Al. Good to see you this evening. Arma in the chat also. Simon and Arma checking in from a lovely sunny September evening in Benihoffa. Good to see you guys as well. Hope you are well. Imelda coming in and saying disaster prevention training for children means something totally different in the USA. I imagine, Imelda, that you're preparing for different types of possible disasters at schools there. We all know what they are, so no need to elaborate. Gigi's in the chat as well. Warm 44 in Surprise, Arizona. Does it ever get cool in that part of the US? Liz in the chat too, coming in from Madrid. Good to see you, Liz. Debbie's asking the question, is there an age limit to purchase tobacco products in Spain? The answer is yes, Debbie. I think it's 16. I could be wrong, but the new law also proposes to put it up to 18. I think it's 16. But again, it's all about the control. If you go into a tobacco shop here, there are specific shops that sell tobacco. You're not going to get served if you're under the age of 18, I don't think. But of course, the cigarette machines in bars, coffee shops and the like, I quite often see children rock up on their push bikes and go in and purchase cigarettes. You technically have to unlock it with a type of key or something, or one of these electric keys. But yeah, it happens. So again, it all comes down to the control, I think, of the laws. Raisinette here. Lord help, are they going to teach the children how to push mud and water with brooms? Not sure exactly what they're going to do. I think it'll probably be, they'll just be taught to head to a high place in the case of a flood. In the case of a volcano, I don't know what you would do. Just probably get out as quickly as you can. But we'll see once the ideas become clearer. Joe coming in from Lanzarote down there in the Canary Islands. Good to see you, Joe. Antonio saying here, it would be prudent to emulate Japan's approach whereby specifically designated areas are allocated for smoking. Thanks, Antonio. Antonio also saying, good evening or good day to myself and everyone present. I find it utterly distressing when people smoke in public thoroughfares and exhale smoke directly into my face while I'm strolling through the city. Yep, Antonio, it happens. Smoking, of course, won't be banned in public places like the street, I don't think. And what annoys me more than the smoke blowing around is the disposal of the butt. Quite often just flicked. As a result, thousands are on the floor or the ground. Billy saying, the weather is very bad in Ireland. Looking forward to getting back to Spain. Thanks, Billy. Hope all goes well with the trip back. TOL saying, a political assassination in the US yesterday. Very sad. Yes, Al, very sad. A political assassination with a firearm in the United States. Somebody deciding to take someone out who was giving a speech, I believe, to students at a university. Somebody on top of a roof with access to a firearm and blowing the man's neck clean open, thus killing him. Leave it at that. Rochelle heading to Spain from Florida tomorrow. Thanks for keeping us up to date on the current events. Thanks for that. Numan saying, how is the market and demand for IT professionals in the Basque Country, Spain? Which city or region in Spain has the most IT jobs? Good question. I don't work in IT, Newman, so I don't really know. I imagine that you would be able to find some IT jobs in a place like Bilbao or another big city up there in the Basque Country. Barcelona, I think, is a tech city. Madrid, you'll find tech jobs. And I believe even Malaga nowadays is offering like a tech city or a tech hub with plenty of jobs for the qualified down there. So good luck. Joe coming in from Northern California. We banned smoking here years ago. We love it. Noticed the smoking right away when in Spain. A lot of people do, Joe. Smoking where I come from also has been... no, it's not banned. You can still buy cigarettes, but as we saw the other day, the cost is prohibitive. And you'll see people smoking, of course. But rarely will you find people smoking in Australia. I always say, I think I've spoken about this before, I'll go back to Australia and go to a party. There'll be 30 or 40 people there at a Christmas party or New Year's party or whatever. And maybe one person is a smoker. Come to Spain in a group of 6 and 3 will be smokers, or at least the people I know. So the percentage is still quite high compared to where I originally come from. And I imagine that's what you're referring to here with California. Thanks for the input. Landbright. Hi, Stu. Counting down the sleeps until I can do a bit of loafing in Los Boliches. The Scottish summer appears to have left for the year. Yes, I imagine that is the case. The Scottish summer, never very long. Maybe this year was an exception. I don't know, but I went to Edinburgh many years ago in August, And cats and dogs. Cats and dogs. So, yeah, in Murcia, you'll be able to get some sun, I reckon. Los Boliches. I think it's Murcia, Los Boliches. And, Joe, we will be back in Spain next week. Good luck with the trip, Joe. Hope all goes well and you're not too affected by the smokers. The Jazz Shed, final comment that I've got here. Let me see if I can open this one up. Good evening, everyone. We're a bit late. Got here in the end at Mercadona. Tortilla is really nice and incredible value. Great with an ice-cold Albarino wine. The Mercadona tortilla. Yes, I rated or tried it the other day. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but it was the food app, Yuka, that sort of put me off a little bit. I think it got only 30 out of 100. Too much salt, other additives in there as well. And compared with the other supermarket tortilla that I bought, which had 65 out of 100, I think. So obviously the healthier option, but double the price. But Mercadona's tortilla, I imagine, is very, very popular. I imagine it is. And Mark, champagne socialism, referring to the two Podemos leaders. I say leaders still because Pablo Iglesias is still an active political figure. Even though he might not be in the parliament at the moment, he still has a YouTube channel. He has a bar in Madrid with propaganda all over the walls. So he's still an activist, I would say, Pablo Iglesias, but sending the kids to a private school. Why is that? Why would that be the case when people defend so strongly the public education system in this country? People like Pablo Iglesias that walk around with their green T-shirts on, defending the public education system, defending a muerte, as they say here, the public education system, criticizing the private education system whenever they can, but then, of course, sending their kids to a private school at the first opportunity. On that note, I'm going to wrap the live stream up. It's been a pleasure. I'll be back again on Sunday with another one. Hope to see you then. Hasta luego. Until that day Sunday. Bye-bye.